Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, The Sages' Teachings at Kurukshetra, Text 18. Can somebody read? Who is here? Who can read? You need the microphone.
Atha api kale swa janabi guptaye adabi kale swa janabi guptaye vibarshi sattvam khala nigrahaya cha Vibarshi sattvam kala nigrahaya cha Swa Leelaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Swa Leelaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Varnashrama Atma Purushaha Paro Bhavan Varnashramatma Purusha Paro Bhavan Adabhikale Swajanabhiguptaye Vibarshi Sattvam Kalanigrahaya Swalilaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Varnasamatma Purusha Paro Bhavan Adabhikale Swajanabhiguptaye Vibarshi Sattvam Kalanigrahaya Swalilaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Varnashramatma Purusha Paro Bhavan
Somebody can read.
Athabhikale Swajanabhiguptaye Athabhikale Swajanabhiguptaye Vibarshi sattvam kalanigrahaya cha Vibarshi sattvam kalanigrahaya cha Swalilaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Swalilaya Veda Patham Sanatanam Varnashramatma Purusha Paro Bhavan Varnashramatma Purusha Paro Bhavan
Vibarshi
Mothers. Where is the Bhagavatam? Open the. Why are you closing it? Not that, the second one. Thank you. Oh, this is not yet a translation and purport. Come here and sit and do it. Come on. I did not know.
Api, nonetheless, Kale, at the correct time, Swajana, of your devotees, Abhiguptaye, for the protection, Vimarshi, you assume, Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Kala, of the wicked, Nigrahaya, for the punishment, Cha, and Swa, your, Leelaya, by the pastimes, Vedapatham, the path of the Vedas, Sanatanam, eternal, Varnashrama, of the divine system of occupational and spiritual divisions of society. Atma, the soul. Purusha, the personality of Godhead. Paraha, supreme. Bhavan, your good self. Translation purports by followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Nonetheless, at suitable times, you assume the pure mode of goodness to protect your devotees and punish the wicked. Thus you, the soul of the Varnashrama social order, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, maintain the eternal path of the Vedas by enjoying your pleasure pastimes. Please repeat. Nonetheless, at suitable times, you assume the pure mode of goodness to protect your devotees and punish the wicked. Thus you, the soul of the Varnashrama social order, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, maintain the eternal path of the Vedas by enjoying your pleasure pastimes. Should I read the purport?
Yeah.
Purport. This verse describes the Lord's enlightening people in general, Janas Sangraha, and His imitation of worldly behavior. Because the personality of Godhead remains always perfect, the body He manifests when He comes to this world is not touched by material goodness. Rather, it is a manifestation of the pure goodness known as Vishuddha Sattva, the same spiritual substance that constitutes His original form.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desitarane Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So, Srila Prabhupada is an ocean of knowledge. When we say ocean of knowledge, it is a factual thing. As a conditioned soul, we cannot understand the unlimited length and breadth of his knowledge of Krishna. So, when he speaks and I speak, there is a difference between night and day. However much worldly people may not be able to understand the difference. So, Prabhupada knows everything because he is connected to Krishna. The grahas are called Jyotisha. The luminary bodies in the sky, Jyotish means light, Jyoti, Jyotish. And these Jyotisha there are predominating deities. There is a difference between Surya and Surya. Surya as Surya Bhagavan and Surya as a planet. Just like I have given this example long time ago, just like there is a difference between minister of electricity and electricity. You see? Surya Bhagavan's body is made of goodness, material goodness predominantly. It's a person. Similarly, Chandra Bhagavan or Chandra. And in these planets there are people, there are houses. If you go to the sun planet, you can see houses that are 3-4 miles tall. So, then there is a planet itself. And just like we have cameras recording everything, the Jyotish record, not just simply lying there. So Jyotish Shastra, it is actually great knowledge. And this occurrences, eclipse, and all that is according to Jyotish Shastra, which Krishna has revealed through sages. And even the sages may not fully understand. They are great personalities. But they receive and they transmit, and it is going on. This is applicable for people who follow Dharma, not for everybody. In America and all, you will see in the newspapers, weekly predictions, Taurus, Gemini, Capricorn, like that. This week you will meet someone, this or that. They'll put on general things. It has no meaning for people who do not follow Dharma. Not for everybody. Astrology has meaning, isn't it? Just like there is a free IIT is here, and they have got timetable for classes. But that is not applicable to everybody in Bombay. It is applicable to those who are studying. Follow? And Jyotish Shastra is not for everybody. Just like if you say somebody is studying in IIT or somebody is studying in a medical college, you can say, you can predict he will become a doctor or engineer, provided he studies. If he has passed the entrance exam, but he is smoking and going to movies and drinking, how he will, nothing that he can predict for IIT student is relevant for him. You cannot say, oh, he's in IIT, after 4 years he'll get a degree, then he can get to go to America and he'll get admission in another college. No, after 4 years he'll be failed. So, the astrology predictions are for those who follow in their life religiosity. Otherwise it has no meaning. Isn't it? So in the olden days, 1,000 years ago, people were highly dharmic. So they collected in Kurukshetra. Isn't it? And everything is recorded by Jyotish, and there are administrators, Chandra Sakshi, Surya Sakshi, Agni Sakshi. When marriage takes place and the fire sacrifice is there, that is Agni Sakshi. You don't need to separately register the marriage. People register marriage and deregister marriage. That is a different system. So human life, Prabhupada knew all these things, we don't know. So the Kumbh is there, called Mahakumbh. 7 of the 9 planets are supposed to be in line, astrologically very significant. Prabhupada went to Kumbh Mela. We explained the purpose. He said, we are not going to take bath there, but we are going to preach. So he has some great purpose that he personally went to Kumbh Mela. There are 2 reasons Kumbh Mela is there. We go to preach, but also Prabhupada emphasized, also sadhus are coming, great sadhus. So where is the question of great sadhus going? If Prabhupada is not going, he was the greatest. So it is not, we cannot imitate Prabhupada. So he has gone because he has to be there. He's a great sadhu. He knows what are the rules, isn't it? if the Prime Minister is coming, the Chief Minister has to go to the airport. Otherwise it is protocol violation. But I can't say I have to go to the airport, Prime Minister is coming. They won't even let me near the airport. क्या है? क्यों आया यहाँ? चलो. So I cannot imitate His divine grace. We should know so that consciousness is clear if you are going, why you are going there. So Prabhupada, it was his duty to go. Sadhus have come, they will all be looking. Even the sadhus are looking for senior sadhus. Prabhupada said that all the sages who are meditating in the Himalayas, they all come. But everybody cannot see them. They are talking about crores of people going, that is ordinary population. But crores of sadhus are coming. Not necessarily, not only the sadhus on the earthly plane. There are millions of sadhus are there. If you go to Himalayas, even now millions of sadhus are meditating. So they are all coming, and so Prabhupada went. Because they will be looking as Prabhupada. Nobody will be looking whether where is me. Nobody will even miss if I don't go. But by the authority of Bhagavad Gita, devotees are also sadhus. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Sadhuryeva samantavya. Why they are sadhus? Because Shipram bhavati dharmatma. Quickly we must become purified. Anyway, so the sadhus have gone. Similarly, 5,000 years ago, the great sages have gone to the and we do not know those things. We do not know that we do not know. Isn't it? क्या हुआ? Isn't it? I've given this example many times. If a doctor looks at an X-ray and he may say that, oh, I don't know why this is there. Let me consult senior doctor. But if you show it to the rickshawala, he cannot say the same thing. Oh, I don't know why this patch is there in the X-ray. He doesn't even know it's the X-ray. So it's very difficult. One has to be blessed to realize that you don't know. Otherwise, Krishna says, Buddhi Vedam na janayad. Don't, in the Bhagavad Gita he says, don't disturb the minds of ordinary people. They have their own life, they will go on, they will discuss. So spiritual knowledge requires great fortune. It cannot be acquired merely by studying. Prabhupada emphasized book distribution. He said if distribute the books, but he also wrote in the book, Bhagavad Gita preface, if one person becomes a pure devotee, I will be satisfied. He says, distribute millions of books, but he said, if one person becomes pure devotee by reading my books, I will consider my mission a success. One devotee came, brahmachari, nice devotee. I think he was sent by H G Prabhu. He came to give me some little service. He's not by worldly standards educated. But he asked me, he quoted some things that Prabhupada said about science. And I was very surprised. And then he asked me, asked me what you are doing in science. Yeah, and he is not educated at all. He's from a village. I asked him, what do you think I'm doing? He said in Hindi that you're preaching to the scientists. I said, no, I'm not preaching to the scientists. He said, then what you are doing? He said, I'm developing a new science based on Bhagavatam. I'm not preaching to the scientists. Oh, so what is that? Science. Because we quoted Prabhupada saying Krishna consciousness is science, he had first quoted. I was surprised. Then I told him that, I said that when we speak, we make many kinds of statements. Statements about the world. Oh, there is... or statements about something, music, statement about philosophy. We make statements of various kinds. But these statements can be in particular divided into, there are two kinds of statements. One kind of statement is statements about the world, that pertain to the world, statements that pertain to our experience. We just focus on those two things. I said, for example, so I will give you some sentences, you tell me whether it's about the world or it's about experience. He said, okay. He's a devotee, so I said, fine. I said, I'm having mild ear pain. It's about experience, my experience. There is a chair in front of me. I said, it's about the world. Man is running in the garden. He said, it's about the world. I said, right. But suppose you are watching a movie and you said a man is running in the garden. Then is it about the world? He said, no, it's about your experience. Because there is no man, there is no garden, there is no man. Only light is falling on the film and film is coming in. He said it's about experience. So now when I say there is a table here, is it my experience or world, about the world? What if it is about your experience, this also? Suppose when you say that here is a table, it's your experience. So behind the table experience, there is something that is called the world. Like when you say a man is running, when you see a movie, that's the experience. But behind that experience, there is a screen, there is a wall, there is a theatre, there is chairs. So, according to Bhagavad Gita, everything is your experience. And you don't know the world. You have never seen the world. like when you are in the theater watching the movie. So the difference between the Mayavadi conception of Maya, where they say, oh, Jagat Mithya, Brahma Satya, everything is false, and Vaishnava conception of Maya, is that we don't say the world is false. The theater is not false, but the movie is false. So your experiences are not, may be true, may not be true, it depends on your level, but the experience is different from the world. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkata agama payino anityas tam titiksha bharata. Anityas, that's what Prabhupada was saying, the material world is real but temporary. That's not an ordinary statement. That's why I said he knows everything. We don't know. You don't know. You just say, Prabhupada said, world is, Mayavadis are wrong, world is not Maya, world is real but temporary. But you don't know anything. You don't even know that you don't know the world. You have never seen the world. Following or not following? Making sense or no? They have to be taught. You don't know. You can't read Bhagavad Gita and come to know these things. We are a preaching movement. Yeah, you are a preaching movement like pen is a writing instrument. Pen is a writing instrument doesn't mean pen can write Shakespeare play or Kalidasa's poetry. That's nonsense. Pen can write, but pen cannot write. So you cannot preach. I cannot preach. This is why we are saying Prabhupada is the preacher. Like in Bhagavatam, he wrote Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya, the original preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because he preached Brahma, Lord Chaitanya. The Chatusloki, Bhagavatam. So, what's okay? It's a vast ocean, spiritual. You cannot know by reading. That's why Prabhupada said, if one person will be. It's very pathetic. Not only I'm foolish, I don't even know I'm foolish. So, you are living in the world of your own experience. You can, like everybody who is seeing the movie, they are having their own experience. But if they talk about it, it will be common. Oh, did you see that man running on in the garden? The next person may say, yeah. That doesn't mean it's a reality. So the fact you say, I will go to Santa Cruz, come and meet me, and somebody comes to Santa Cruz and meet, doesn't mean Santa Cruz is real. It's your experience. The Santa Cruz that is your experience, the Santa Cruz of your experience, they're different. So Lord Kapila says in the 3rd canto, Hindus also say, hum akele aate hain, akele jate hain, but they don't know what it means. Of course, even if they are real Mayavadis, they know a little bit. That's a different matter. So, when we talk about the alignment of the grahas, the eclipse, everything, it's in the world. It's happening. And you don't know that world. You have never seen the world, you only had experience. So then I said, science is the way to know the world. Which is why Srila Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is a science. Now we are doing youth preaching. What youth preaching you are doing? No. You don't know anything, you are talking rubbish. You are ignorant, you have never seen the world. And they are learning about the world. They may not also know, it's not so easy. Just because somebody signs it. The students, even professors don't know. That's a different matter. But you should know better. Anyway, it's all what I speak. Sometimes it may not be understandable, but we have to speak what to do. So, these sages, they are people who have seen the world to different degrees. Ultimately, when you see the world correctly, it is spiritual world. It's a great science. So I said that I am trying to describe that world through science. Anyway, the discussion went on. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that you're reading in the Bhagavatam, the sages have assembled in Kurukshetra. The consciousness must be different. A cow is going inside IIT. You are going, and the student is going, and the teacher is going. Everybody is going. It is different. So, so you don't have to go anywhere in one sense to be in the spiritual world, because everything is in the spiritual world. So the process of Krishna consciousness is meant for elevating directly. Because Krishna consciousness cannot be followed unless you have become fully dharmic. Are you following this? It cannot be followed. I am not fully dharmic. How can I be a devotee? Prabhupada is fully dharmic. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dando moha vinirmukta bhajante mam dhrudabrata. Yesham tu antagatam papam. Unless you have gone to the completely finished off all sinful activities. Sinful activities do not simply mean drinking and this and that. If you are very religious, that's a sinful activity. So there are two kinds of sinful activities, overtly sinful and covertly sinful. So in the entire Vedic literature, everything that is said is sinful from the viewpoint of Krishna consciousness. Isn't it? Why would you sit and, you go to the spiritual world and sit and meditate? Krishna is performing pastimes and you are sitting there. I once asked people, suppose in your house there is a knock on the door and you open the door and Krishna is standing there, what will you do? And people come for Bhagavad Gita, I used to ask a long time ago. And people used to say, I'll immediately close my eyes and this and that. They don't even know personal. I said, suppose you knock on the door and you open the door and your father is standing there, what will he say? Oh, I'll invite him inside, give him a seat. So why can't you do that for Krishna? So if Krishna is there, you have to invite. So in the spiritual, but there is actually in the boundary of Goloka, there are purified souls who meditate. That's also described. Entering Shantabhav. There. So there are levels, but that's also better than rotting in the material world. No doubt about it. So, what I say, everybody can go everywhere, but consciousness is different. So if we are not sinless, we cannot practice Krishna consciousness. But the great mercy of Lord Chaitanya is that he said, in Kali Yuga, the process for becoming purified, which is normally called dharma, and the process that those who are purified follow. What is that verse? Atma something? Famous verse of Atma Rama. Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgranto api urukrame See? So Lord Chaitanya said, the process that the Paramahamsas follow, chanting, dancing, taking prasadam, I give you that process directly. Even to the most fallen. There is no difference between the process to get purified and the process after purified state. This is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. That's called Krishna consciousness. But the process of purification is that you have to hear from those who are more purified. You see? Your son? What's your name? Krishna. What class you are studying? Where? What's your school name? Holy Cross. Where? Santa Cruz. Kalyan. Oh, you came from Kalyan all the way. Very good. Near Krishna is your name. So, the process is the same. Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Otherwise, it is not possible to chant. Recently, I had a health episode, as they say, and I was in the hospital. But when I entered the hospital, I was not very well. I was quite unwell. But I realized one thing, and I realized that I did not know what is Krishna consciousness. Every time I go to the hospital, I get a realization. I hope. I realized I wasted my life. Why? Because I was thinking Krishna consciousness means chanting 16 rounds and going to the temple or taking prasadam and doing a service and all of that. This is not Krishna consciousness. This is the beginning stage. Krishna consciousness means you only have one duty. 24/7 chanting Hare Krsna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's all. That's all. As soon as you read Prabhupada's books and you have understood the philosophy, there's not just go and sit in a place and chant 24/7. Kirtaniya sada harihi. Kirtaniya sada harihi. So, but I'm conditioned. I've got a material body, subtle and gross body, and it is influenced by the modes of nature. So even if the soul is sitting and chanting, the body will go and do something else. Therefore, the instructions are given. Now, if you cannot do it, then you do other things. You are chanting, then you will get up and go and eat prasadam. Not necessary, but advanced devotees, it is not necessary. Bharana Kabo. So, the rest of the activities of the daytime are given because I cannot chant 24 hours. Am I making sense? Then I realized I just entered into the hospital and it hit me like. Then at least that night I was only chanting. That's a different matter. Temporary, like Prasava Vairagya, they say. Smasana Vairagya. Everybody who goes to the Smasana to bury whoever is dead, when they come back, they have a sudden moment of Vairagya. Oh, world is temporary, what is this? But next day it's gone. So, that is called temporary vairagya. So, mine is also like that, but that's okay. The point is that in all of this, you are realizing more and more how great His divine grace is. Otherwise, externally, how do people know? An ordinary person who goes to a hospital, he is waiting and then somebody is going, oh, doctor has come, you get up. Somebody will say, no, it's not doctor, sit down. And that is just attendant. Because he has also got white dress, he has got, going. Then after some time, another person comes with a stethoscope and all that. You get, oh, doctor has come. No, that is nurse. After some time, another person comes with a suit and with him 2-3 people are even on behind him. Oh, doctor has come. No, it's junior doctor. He's just joined. The real doctor. So we are junior doctors. The real doctor, real surgeon is there. He will become known more and more and more in the future. The people who come in the beginning are the ones who may know him the least. But we have got it ulta. So that is you realize what. So that is why. But of course, I knew that when I first started going to ISKCON in 70s, then 79, summer of 78, first I started. The first thing I realized, Prabhupada is asli, I am nakli. And that hasn't changed now, more than 45 years has gone by. I still can, I see him, I realize you are asli, I am nakli. Then we can understand the mood of the sages. Because when the sages came, Krishna went to them, oh, please come, you have all come. You are the real people who purify this place. Everybody is coming because of, of course, Kurukshetra is, Prabhupada writes in the very first verse, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Purport, he says, we have nothing to do with Kurukshetra. Other than the fact that Krishna was there and he spoke. So, Krishna Graha Grahitatma, the real Graha because of whom Kurukshetra is famous is because Krishna came. So the devotees, the pure devotees are not thinking like that, but that's what it is. For them it's important because Krishna is there. But anyway, Krishna was telling the sages, Tirtham Kurvanti Tirthani, you are making the place. It's a fact. Same example, IIT is there, buildings are there. It is not a college. It is a college because there are professors there teaching. So college kurvanti, professors. Like that, the sadhus kurvanti tirthani. And the succession of sadhus are the acharyas. Anyway, I am trying to say a few things. I don't know whether I'm making sense. Am I making sense or not? Krishna, listening? Are you following? Difficult, no? See? So, when we read, the sages were a little bewildered because they are not thinking, we are all tirtham kurvanti, we are all no, they are thinking, okay, here is the Supreme Lord. But the Supreme Lord is saying, oh, you are the people who are making this place holy, please come. Once a devotee told me that he had a dream, and in the dream that he dreamt that he was in the front of Krishna's palace in Dwaraka. He was very surprised, and then the door opened, Krishna was there, and behind Krishna, Rukmini was there. And he was very shocked that how I am in this thing. So then he realized that somehow Krishna has invited him there. Otherwise, how would I be there? Somehow Krishna. So he said that in the dream, I told, oh Krishna, thank you very much for inviting me. It's very kind of you. And he said, what Krishna said blew his mind. Krishna said, we are purified by your arrival. That's Krishna's mood. Dharmatma. So Krishna is one beautiful aspect of his personality, is that he thinks everybody is great. Not just things he sees. It's not an ordinary thing. It's not that just Hanuman thought that, oh, what is this squirrel doing or whatever it was. That was bringing some little stone in order to cross the, Imagine that you are building this bridge that going from wherever, Bandra to Nariman Point. It's a water bridge they are constructing under the water. Big bulldozers and this and they're coming in. And like, suppose this boy goes, Krishna there, and he goes with a spoon and he says, I will also put some sand there to close the sea. They will say, well, what are you doing? You cannot help. This is... How can we know these things? The Hindus say, of course, they also have their realizations. I can't. Anyway. Similarly, the little squirrel or whatever it is was trying to bring in its nose some sand particles. I think it was squirrel, wasn't it a squirrel? Yeah. And Hanuman was bringing 10,000 feet boulder. He was bringing, Haribol, move. And there was this, and he told the squirrel, what are you doing? I'm carrying this big stones and I'm bringing and you are there and I have to now be very careful so that I don't just step over you. Lord Ram said, no, that's also important. So, that is the Lord's way of seeing. That's how Krishna is actually seeing. He doesn't have to act. So, all good things come from him. So, we speak amongst each other politely, nicely, everything. It is coming from, the example is coming from Krishna himself. Bhushananam cha bhushanam, mangalanam cha mangalam. Vishnu Sahasranamam says, what does it mean? He is the ornament of ornaments. Auspiciousness of all auspicious things. Yes. Bhagavatam describes the sunset everybody likes. It's beautiful. But the sunset is beautiful because it resembles the color of Krishna's eye. Normally people are beautiful because they resemble nature, but nature is beautiful because it resembles Krishna. So that whenever we see beautiful things, if we can remember Krishna's beauty, Prabhupada said that is Krishna consciousness. But he's seeing Krishna. What am I? Nothing. So like in the hospital you see everybody is a doctor like that. If I am speaking like this, why wouldn't a normal public think that, oh, he knows so much? But I only know, I don't know. So the public is thinking, oh, he's doctor because he has got stethoscope. Like that, I'm having this dress, I'm sitting, I'm speaking. But there is a difference between me and what I know. So what is the verse in the Bhagavatam? Advaitam, something Advaitam. Verse, first chapter. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Sabdhara. What's the first line? Vadanti tat tattva vidas jnanam yad advayam. Vadanti tat tattva vidas jnanam yad advayam. Knowledge that is non-different from the knower. I am different, my knowledge is different. You can speak whatever you want, but what is the person actually is different. Krishna, no. So when Prabhupada says there is no difference between Bhagavad Gita and Krishna, what does it mean? Because whatever he says is a perfect example of it. Krishna. So there is no difference between Krishna and what Krishna speaks. It is absolute. We can also, by becoming purified, be like that. I think even the Bible they claim, they say that, be ye as pure as thy father or something like that. No, you can become. This is Krishna. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we must appreciate Krishna is like this. Krishna speaks exactly the way he thinks and acts. Prabhupada is like that. There is no difference between what Prabhupada says and how he behaves. But yogyata vichare kichunai pai tomara karuna sar. If I examine myself, I have no yogyata. So, the entire process of Krishna consciousness is that you should learn, you should be taught about how to go beyond your experience and see reality. You know? Just like you are sitting in the theater, we are only dark theater watching what is happening in the screen, which is not a real thing. But if this movie is stopped and lights are switched on, then you see, you see the whole theater. Like that, in your experience called Bombay, my experience called Bombay, his experience called Bombay, behind this there is a Bombay. Have you seen it? You have not seen it. Because those who can see that world behind experience, they live in much better place, not this Zopadbatti. Right here, there is a reality that you may not have seen. It's there. It's there. You have not seen it. So how we are going to... So you should actually be, what is it called? Vasudeva Kathamrita Ruchi. You must be desirous of hearing about Vasudeva. That begins by the desirous to know the reality. The scientists are possessed by that desire to know reality, and that's a very separate topic. But you may not even know there is a reality. And I'm experiencing it. And your experience is not reality. Ma-ya. Ma means not, ya means reality. Means your experience is not real. Those who can see things as they are, Om Tad Vishnu or Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Diviva Chakshuratatam Sada Pashyanti. And there are people who are not, who are seeing reality. And the reality is Krishna. So the sadhus were invited by Krishna, who met Krishna. Krishna actually was he praised them, and then they were, in turn, they were saying, "Excuse me, sir, you know, you are just speaking like an ordinary person. This is how we are received in the world. And people praise us because we do a lot of tapasya and everything. But all our tapasya is for you. The Vedas are all for you. Isn't it? Chatrushedaika mantram sakalam Upanishad vakya sampujya mantram. Sakalam Upanishad vakya sampujya mantram. Everybody is using the mantra of the Vedas to do pujas, but the Vedas themselves are using your name to do puja. Chatrushedaika mantram sakalam Upanishad vakya sampujya mantram. What is the next line? Samsara uddhara mantram. Samsara uddhara mantram. Then? I forgot. Yes. Someone pushes samasta jnana. Jigve kirtaya kesa. No, that is separate. Japa japa satatam Krishna. Mantra, Janma Sapalya mantra. So Mukundamala is saying, you chant Krishna's name because people are doing pujas with Vedic mantras, but the Vedic mantras are chanting Krishna's name. Therefore, we have to elevate ourselves. And this chanting of the mantra must be like, if somebody asks you to balance this. There's one point here in which if you balance, it'll stand. It's called center of gravity. One pointed. The chanting must be balanced like that. It has to be nothing else. The entire mind and the consciousness is balanced on that one point. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's pointed, one pointed. One pointed chanting. So they were saying here, where is... Read this translation loudly and we'll stop.
Nonetheless, at suitable times, you assume the pure mode of goodness to protect your devotees and punish the wicked. Thus you, the soul of the Varnashrama social order, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, maintain the eternal path of the Vedas by enjoying your pleasure pastimes.
So you can imagine what a great reply the sages gave. I'm not able to see. Nevertheless, at suitable times, you assume the pure mode of goodness. To project.
On the left side.
This one?
Yeah.
No, this is the verse, 18th verse.
Okay.
Nevertheless, at suitable times, you assume the pure mode of goodness to protect your devotees and punish the wicked. Thus you, the soul of the Varnashrama social order, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, maintain the eternal path of the Vedas by enjoying your pleasure pastimes. It's a very extraordinary prayer, but even this prayer is still nowhere near the prayers of gopis. Sages, they are talking, but it's also very important. So every line is very important. I have to, now the class has to begin, because you have to know all these other things. You have to have the mind, a humble mind to hear. If you think that you know everything, you cannot hear, you cannot understand. Oh, what is Rasaraj saying is OHT. No, it should not be OHT. So at least let me say, everywhere this can go for another 6-7 hours. So we talked about Krishna. There is no difference between him and what he speaks. And devotees are also like that, the great devotees, the real devotees. We are all aspiring devotees. And the soul of the Varnashrama order Varnashrama dharma vibhagasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. If Hari is not there, the center of Varnashrama dharma, then it's a dead society. And what to speak of Varnashrama dharma without Hari? They don't even have Varnashrama dharma. They have a society without Varnashrama dharma and without Hari. That is more dead. So the Varnashrama dharma is very divine, it's very important, but that's another topic. Already a lot of time. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Very nice, insightful lecture. You are saying that this astrology is meant only for those people who are following dharma. So if somebody who is not following dharma and goes to an astrologer and then he predicts, they don't come true?
I don't know. As far as I understand, it has no meaning. Like I gave the example, no? If somebody goes to medical college, you can predict he'll become a doctor. But what is the meaning of the prediction if the boy is not studying? So if by your karma you are supposed to get something, but by your adharma you are doing many things, then it will go away. Material energy is such that, so it's like that. Somebody says that I left you. Remember, I took 1,000 rupees from you. I put it at the street corner in Santa Cruz. You go there. You may not get it. You will get it if people are very honest. Nobody touches it. So in the olden days, when everybody is following dharma, whatever is due for you by your karma, you will get. But if people are impious and constantly stealing everybody's property, every this, that, and it's common sense, that you will not even get what is due for you, and you will get what is not due for you. That's Kali Yuga.
So there is no point in going to an astrologer.
Yes, and for devotees, it's not needed, they are worshipping Krishna. But in the 5th canto, Prabhupada writes about Bhrigu Nadi, the Nadi Shastra by Bhrigu. You see, that is a science. I won't get into that right now. But Prabhupada writes that every devotee should actually consult Nadi. So it is written for coming ages, in the coming centuries for people. Because the Nadi Shastra is actually blessed by Lakshmi ji. When Bhrigu kicked Vishnu ji on the chest, and then Lakshmi ji got very upset because that is her residing place and she cursed Bhrigu. Then Vishnu told Lakshmi ji that he is a great sage. You can't only give him a curse, please also give him a benediction. I think one of the curses she gave is that Brahmins will not have money. Meaning those who are doing intellectual work. They won't have any money. But that apart, but then when he said, no, you should give some blessings, one of the blessings she gave is, of course, Lakshmi ji cannot just give one blessing. See, so one of the blessings is that, okay, he said you will be able to write Nadi Shastra. So Nadi Shastra is based on very general patterns in birth. So, although there are millions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of people who are being born at different times in different ages with different karma and everything, Bhrigu was able to actually generalize the various possible combinations in a particular way, and he made Nadi Shastra. So, in Bhrigu Nadi, all the possible combinations are there. Everybody is not destined to go to Bhrigu Nadi. And if you go also, he will say that nothing is there for you. You are not qualified. So not everybody, but of course in these days I don't even know whether they do proper Nadi Shastra. That's a different matter. Like yoga was there before Srila Prabhupada came. It had nothing to do with yoga. So, but the Nadi Shastra is there and it will come back. So we should know that we are only the beginning stage of Krishna consciousness. Those who are going to come are going to be better than us. Anyway, this is all a great science. I have not even begun the class, but that's all.
What is the phenomenal world and noumenal?
That is what phenomena and noumena is there in Western thought also. So the world that you see in the theatre is phenomenal. The theatre is nominal. So are you there seeing the phenomenal world or nominal? And everybody is seeing the phenomenal. It's private. It's a great science. That is the significance of modern science, that this knowledge about phenomena and noumena distinction was known only to great sages. Today, even an ordinary person can understand the theatre example, but should be understood properly. You follow? So it is a noumenal world that is made of the bhutas. Just like in the phenomenal world, in the theatre, you see garden and people running. It's not made of anything, it's just light. But the theatre is made of concrete, the screen the chair is made of cushion. Like that, the noumenal world is actually made of bhumi, rapo, analo, vayukam. You ask the devotees, what is this made of? They'll say, according to Bhagavatam, they'll say Panchabhuta. No. What is the relation between Panchabhutas and your experience? A science. So when people must be, nobody is teaching the devotees that you don't know anything. Everybody has become great. Everybody is preaching. Isn't it? You are preaching, aren't you? So that's it. But nobody has told you you're a fool. Sorry. When you come to the temple, you should say, whatever you have read is good enough for you by your past good karma to understand in general that this is Krishna consciousness, this is good, and I want to become a devotee. That's fine. Now if you want to get knowledge, actual knowledge that Krishna has defined, then you have to learn. But if I say all these things, people will kill me. But I'm just indicating. So you pray to, there's a process to get this knowledge, forget all that. Am I making sense? So but one thing is there. When I joined also, I was already, obviously I was a college debater and this and that. So any topic, any nonsense topic you give, I can speak. I was a good speaker, I knew that. So I knew that I can also speak this and become very famous. I knew that when I joined. In fact, when I joined in the temple, one day what happened in Detroit temple, the devotee was supposed to give, that is way back in 78, so, only Prabhupada initiated disciples were there and they gave the classes. So then what happened, that devotee, Prabhupada initiated devotee he didn't come to give the Sunday class. So in the Brahmachari ashram, one Brahmachari came and said, the temple president said you should give the class. And I was a new devotee, new bhakta. Can you imagine that? And all the other brahmacharis now were senior and all, they are very surprised. How they are asking, he's being, and I should give? I said, why I should give? I don't want to give. No, he told, come immediately, every public is there, they're waiting. So I can't do anything, so I went. And the hall was full, this temple. I just sat there and somebody had already sung Jaya Radha Madhava. I just sat there and gave the class. And the class was a hit. That was like Ram Group says, silver jubilee, isn't it? He used to say. So then everybody came on, all the brahmacharis, he didn't know he can give such a good class like that. So from the beginning, I gave so-called good classes, public. But I knew somehow from the beginning, always. In Bombay, I used to give lectures, 400-500 lectures a year. Those days are gone. Prabhupada said, something, you do this for me, I'm doing. So, I always knew that all this has no meaning. So I give a lecture, I'll get up and leave. I never sat there after the lecture. No cultivation, nothing. I have spoken for Prabhupada, I have spoken for Krishna. Prabhuji gave nice class. No. So I knew that. Why? Because I said, but I didn't understand. Now I'm understanding more and more. I always thought that I'm not a devotee. If I was a devotee, then I'll be Krishna conscious. I'm not. But I can read, I can understand, I can speak like that. So slowly over the years, now, fifth decade is coming and, that experience is there. But, but that has never gone. I am Nakli, he is Asli. That will never go. Even if I go to Goloka, he is Asli, I am Nakli. Never it will change, ever. Forever is the master. I am the servant. So I don't know why I started it. You said something.
Phenomenal world and numinal.
So anyway, I told you that. So you should learn to switch off the movie, switch off the TV and see the room with TV. And so that is the beginning of reality. Tattvadarshi, Vadanti Tattvavidas. Yeah, no, not that. What is that word? Approach the spiritual master. What is that?
Tadvidhi pranipatena.
Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya upadakshante te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Tattvadarshi. Not experience darshi. Tattvadarshi. Tattva actually is there. You are not seeing the movie, but you are seeing the TV. You are not seeing the phenomena, but you are seeing the noumena. You are not seeing the creation, but you are seeing the Creator. What is that verse? I think I have forgotten. No. After this.
Stavara jangama deke na deke.
Stavara jangama deke na deke tara murti. These are all. So you have to learn to see the theater, not the movie. Then Tattvadarshi. Sandhya Chaitanya Prabhu, I'm just preaching. Please don't forgive me. I'm also a fool, and I'm a greater fool than you. So I'm not there to criticize you. But I'm saying that we should be taught. So nobody taught me when I joined that you're a fool. You have read, but you don't know. But what I'm saying is that somehow by fortune, I always knew from the beginning that I don't know. That's a great blessing. Then what I don't know, I didn't know for a long time. Now I'm learning a little bit. That's a different matter. So the point I wanted to make was that we are not told by those who know that you don't know. That Krishna told Arjuna. Prajnavadamsya bhashashe. What is the beginning of?
Ashochaya Nanvashocha.
Huh?
Ashochaya.
Ashochaya nanvashochastvam prajnavadamsya bhashashe. Gatasan agata suncha. Jnana pandita nanasut. So he told Arjuna, you're speaking like a great man, but you don't know anything. Somehow I told that to myself. You know, even when you were all coming and I was preaching, I'm sure you all thought I was a good preacher, but not me. Once I offered obeisance to Yashamati Nandan Prabhu. He had come here. I just came to in the hall. I met him. I offered him obeisances. Then he also offered obeisances. I told him, you don't have to offer obeisance. He said, the problem is, I also think like that. And I was laughing. And that's what Sanatana Goswami told Lord Chaitanya. He told that everybody is saying that I'm a great scholar. And Lord Chaitanya said, you are. You know so many languages, you know so many shastras, what's the problem? He said, no, the problem is that I also think I'm a scholar. That's the problem. So we should never forget that we are a fool, but that's a benediction. It's not a sentiment. You should actually know. Oh, I didn't know that. Any other question? Last question. Time over here. Just two. No. You have this. One more question. Both time over here.
Hare Krsna Prabhuji. My question is, as you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya is a real preacher. So while preaching, how can we have an effect in our preaching?
How can you?
Have an effect, good preaching. What are the things
that is not the class. He is asking you, you said Lord Krishna is the real preacher, so how can our preaching should have effect? I can give some answers and all, but that's not the class. You have missed the point of the class. You should be thinking, why am I seeing phenomena, why am I not seeing nomina? That is. Why are you just wasting time? What you are going to preach? That means you are already a fool. You are such a scoundrel that you think you are going to preach and you want to have effect. Sorry, I'm speaking from Vyasasan. Outside I am the scoundrel, you are the Gyani. I'm not personally attacking you. Are you following?
Yeah.
Why this disease? That's I didn't complete that point. See, one of the problems with my lecturing is that I don't complete points. I just say it and then I go to another point. So many things to say. I just go on speaking like a municipality car goes everywhere. Lorry. Sorry about that. But the point is that I told you, a pen is a writing instrument. But if the pen is saying, what should I write? It's nonsense. You just stay there and whoever can write will write. You follow or you don't follow? Yes. So why are you saying you are preaching? You cannot preach. Have you realized that? Because you don't know the difference between experience and reality. What you are going to preach? That you should feel. Then, nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin, you become actually nimitta, you become instrument. And when you become instrument, you can preach. Then you'll have effect. Are you following what I'm saying? Therefore, you have to know, the whole point of the class is you have to focus now. I am only living in a world of my private experience, which is what the Hindus say. I didn't complete that. Akela aya, akela gaya. Each one of us is living privately, but we think we are talking to each other. You think you are asking me a question, I think I am answering. I am not thinking, but I could. Are you following?
Yes.
This is spiritual life. There is no common life at all. It's all great knowledge. So I am just giving all this. It's not so that you can ask questions about more and more. But you should now think, why is it that I did not know I am living in a world of experience? How will I go to Tattva? And then there is a method. to get it. That you don't know is what I mean to say. Are you following? Yes. So focus on that. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।